Hey everybody, it's Tuesday, May 13th, 2025. Welcome to the NFL Fantasy Football Podcast, where we're thinking about Olympic flag football tickets. It's me, your man MG Marcus Grant, joined by Michael F. Florio and Laquan Jones. I don't know if you guys have seen, fellas, the schedule of venues and stuff for the Olympics in 2028 is out. And it just came out. I believe they announced it yesterday. Maybe it was Monday. Today is Tuesday.
What we got?
So you guys, what went yesterday? I don't know what day it is anymore.
I'm the one who works overnight, Marcus. Like, how don't you know what day it is?
I don't know, because just like I know what day it is based on what I have to do. Like, I don't necessarily know because I'm like today, I know my kid gets out of school a little bit earlier than it, so I like, oh, that must be Tuesday. Like, that's how I know what day it is.
My alarm tells me what day it is, really. If I hear it, I have to go to work.
It's like in season. It's like, oh, I have to sit waivers today. It must be Tuesday. Like, sits coming out. It must be Wednesday. Like, that's how I operate.
No, 100%. 100%.
You're robots.
The point is the Olympic schedule of at least the venues is out now, and I saw that flag football is going to be played at BMO Stadium, which normally is the home of LAFC and Angel City Football Club. So they're going to play that in a soccer stadium, which is literally right kind of near downtown, is right next to the LA Coliseum, which is where the opening ceremonies are going to be. I believe that SoFi is hosting, I think, swimming, I want to say. It's not, it's
what?
Well, it's funny because, I know in the past, like they've done swimming like in football arenas or soccer stadiums and that sort of thing. Like I know in the past, I think they'd had, not at the Coliseum, not the LA Coliseum. There's a pool right next door. But I think
I'm looking at pictures right now. I don't know if this is real though. Like they did this.
Well, I think it's going to be like I'm sure it's a mock-up of something. But SoFi is going to host swimming.
I'll take a dive.
But so I don't know how they're gonna do it. I would go see it just to see exactly how they pull that off.
Yeah.
And if I'm Stan Kroenke or Les Snead or Sean McVay, I'm also checking to see if this is going to impact our playing surface.
I was about to say, don't mess up the stadium. Don't mess up Rams house, because I'd rather not do it if that's going to be the case.
Well, I mean, also because like the Summer Olympics usually happen in August, so you are going to be running right up to the season.
Yeah,
I would guess the Rams start on the road maybe in 2028.
Most likely.
I don't know. That's 3 whole years away.
Yeah.
Who knows?
We got to worry about this year's schedule coming.
We got to worry about this year's schedule, which we will talk about later on in the show. Schedule release does happen this week. I believe it's Wednesday that the league is fully releasing its schedule. So we'll dive into some of that as well. Plus, we'll play a little bit of this or that with some rookies, guys whose situation we might like better than somebody comparable to them. So we'll get to that in just a bit. But first, let's start with a little bit of news. Derek Carr has announced his retirement from the NFL after 11 seasons due to a shoulder injury. And fellas, this kind of took a quick turn in the sense of it seemed a couple of weeks ago as though Carr was going to have surgery. He was going to try to work his way back. We certainly didn't know a timeline, but it didn't seem as though retirement talk was in the works. Then all of a sudden he makes the announcement. So he is hanging him up after 11 seasons. So Florio, Tyler Shough time, or do you believe in Spencer Rattler?
No, I think it's Tyler Shough time. And Shough was a prospect that I found myself liking a good amount while watching the tape. With it being said of like, I thought he would be a really solid either backup or like someone that you could start for stretches or something like that. I didn't see a future franchise QB, but he gets his opportunity now. Like, yeah, he's got to beat out Spencer Rattler in camp. I wouldn't be surprised if we see both of them start games this year. One, given how much QB movement we've had in recent years with injuries and teams just seeing some poor games, they switch, stuff like that. So wouldn't be shocked if we see both, but Tyler Shough is going to get an opportunity. The thing that I kept saying about him is like, he is a better athlete than you think, but he's not an elite athlete. He has a gunslinger mentality, but I don't think he has a gunslinger arm. He reminded me a lot of like Ryan Fitzpatrick. So there could be some fun days for fantasy in there. There's going to be some rough ones as well. And I think if you're the Saints, you've been kicking this can down the road for a decade now with the cap and everything. Like, this is your time to hit the hard reset and go through a rough year or two. But the time has come. You got to pay this bill now.
I was just looking, Laquan. Tyler Shough is older than Spencer Rattler.
Wow. I'm actually not surprised.
You're not? That he's older than Spencer? I mean, I guess not, because we've talked a lot about his age and that sort of thing. Okay.
Yeah, my guy is a veteran in the game.
He's 3 years older than Anthony Richardson.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Richardson,
who's in year 3.
He's in year 3. He was also young when he came into the league for sure, but Tyler Shough has been he's experienced.
He's been
my favorite Tyler Shough fun fact is he backed up Justin Herbert for 2 years. Justin Herbert contract
why I'm
number
not
2.
Surprised. We talked about this. Like, this dude is a veteran in the game. Like, they got a veteran for the cheap, I would say. I mean, look, the transition is clean as day, going from Carr to Shough. But I'm optimistic about him.
So you are, because like, I don't know, because I know how you feel about Chris Olave, and I know you weren't really big on the Saints. Like, I can't imagine that Tyler Shough at quarterback gets you more excited about the Saints offense, does it?
It doesn't get me like crazy excited, because the only relevance with that offense last season was kind of just them on that deep ball with Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave. And like, you kind of just go into this as a clean slate. Like, honestly, the only person I'm targeting on that offense is Alvin Kamara, who's wildly undervalued right now, which he's going to be a complete draft steal. But more so looking at this offense, like, we have no priors. Like, it's a veteran that's like 28 years old. He's 25, but I'm just joking. But more so looking at it, like, he's going in with a clean slate. This offense is going in with a clean slate with Kellen Moore. So I'm just open to anything that they put out there, week 1.
You really think Kamara's undervalued?
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know.
I do, because him almost cracking that 1,000 yards and still being very effective in the passing game, how could you give up on that in PPR? Like, there's no really other valuable like pass catcher that you could rely on other than Alvin Kamara. And he's a running back, so there's double the opportunity of him touching the ball. Chris Olave, who knows if he's going to be on the field the entire season? Rashid Shaheed returning back from injury. And then who else is on the roster? Bub Means? Like, come on.
Devin Neal. The new Jamal Williams. Look, everything you said there is factual, but there's concerns too. Like, he's going to be 30 years old. Derek Carr dumps off at one of the highest rates in the NFL, and he's not there anymore. And then if you're an opposing defense, everything that you just said, LQ, is what the opposing DC is saying and being like, if we stop this guy, teams are going to dare Tyler Shough to beat them. They're going to be like, as long as we don't let 41 beat us, we are content in this. So the age is also the concern, because I know he was great last year, but 2 years ago we started to see, like, was he reaching the end? So I don't know if I'm going to be as in on Kamara personally.
I think sometimes the answer to the question is none. And I think
I do think this is an offense I'm just going to completely avoid.
I don't
want any wide receivers. I'll tell you that. Their entire roster is in the satchel of discontent. Even the guys they even drafted or signed yet, they're all in that bag, just rumbling right now.
Wow.
Also, new play caller too. So like that, who knows?
I mean, if you walk into the building, you're like, all right, who's my most valuable player? You're going to look at Alvin Kamara like, all right, well,
I mean, that's true. That's
no,
true.
100%.
That's absolutely true. Just again, for our fantasy purposes, like, I just don't know that there's really a great answer. Remember last year when the Saints scored like 90 points in their first 2 games, and we're like, oh my goodness, is this gonna be a thing?
We're so bad.
And then I think it took them like a month to score another 90 points or something like that. It was.
I think they got 90 points scored on them in that matter.
Right, it was pretty bad. Interesting story on NFL.com written by Mark Ross. 10 rookies in the best situations to succeed in year 1 and beyond. I picked out, he had 5 offensive guys that I picked out. Number 2, Amarian Hampton. Number 5, Emeka Egbuka. Number 7, Colston Loveland. Number 9, TreVeyon Henderson. Number 10, Jack Besh. I know we talked about these guys in varying degrees since the draft has happened, even before the draft happened. But wanted to ask you, Laquan, about Egbuka? Because like when he got drafted, we all sort of looked around and we're like, I don't know, it doesn't necessarily make sense. We're like, you know, they've got Evans, they've got Godwin. We liked what we saw in flashes from Jalen McMillan last year. Have you changed your mind about Egbuka? Have you started to come around on him maybe being a thing this year?
I'm not quite sure, because when he got that call, you know, and Todd Bowles was basically saying, like, just like college, you know, your name will be called and be ready and just keep doing everything you were doing in college. So it's not like the expectations is for him to come in and start immediately. It's more so of like, your opportunity may come if there's injuries, because we look at Evans, the age is there, the injuries are there, the history is there. Same thing with Chris Godwin. Like, this is how Jalen McMillan became fantasy relevant at all on that back end of the season. So it's like there may be opportunities in year one, but I just don't think it's going to be immediately hit the ground running. So in these rookie drafts, he's going in that back end of that first round, which is not a bad spot. It's just that I'm not aggressive on him, just based on we're going to have to be patient for him to actually flourish as a, you know, option of that offense.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. Are you drafting, Flory? Are you drafting Egbuka anywhere? Have you drafted him yet?
I would be. I'm not opposed to doing so in the later rounds. Although I do feel like he's one of those picks that the person who drafts him isn't going to be the one that benefits. Depending, I will change all of this if Chris Godwin is not ready to start the year. But if Evans and Godwin are fully healthy and out there, it's going to be hard for him. And I don't think Jalen McMillan is going completely away either. So it might be tough for him early on to get going, but it's a long season, man. There'll be injuries, or he could just play his way into more volume. I think he is a player who, like, in the latter half of the year could be really fantasy viable. But if you draft him, you're not going to wait that long, right? Like, you're going to end up cutting him and someone else will benefit. So I'm not like super bullish in drafting him, but he's definitely on my radar.
You know what's crazy though? How many times people dropped Jalen McMillan last year, like on and off of the waivers, and I feel like that's going to happen with Egbuka, because the expectations is for him to just jumpstart and in for a lot of folks when you look at the fantasy streets and his draft stock and where he's going in these best ball leagues. Like, come summer, there's going to be enough hype videos in slow motion with no corner TVs of Emeka Egbuka just catching these deep balls, and everybody's just going to shoot up that ADP, and then their heart is going to be broken come week one.
Can I say one thing?
Please.
I don't know about you guys. I'm very proud of myself. I didn't repost. I didn't get excited. Nothing from rookie minicamp. Like, all of these slow motion throwing videos and stuff, I just kept scrolling. I was like, I'm not allowing this to even enter my mind right now, because it doesn't matter.
I saw a good one with Jalen Milroe basically throwing a slow motion ball to Elijah Arroyo, and somebody like captioned and said, "I thought he couldn't throw," and I'm like, come on, man. This dude's in shorts.
I really do. I would say this. I have not been on the socials as much the last couple of months, so I thankfully have sort of ignored and missed a lot of that. But I do appreciate that we're all growing. At least I hope we're growing as a group and learning to not get too high or too low on any of these videos. Like, you watch enough of them, one of them's going to catch you, right? Like, eventually one of them's going to be like, it's going to hit you in the right moment. You know,
it's going to be Anthony Richardson throwing like an 80-yard heat.
It's already there. It's already there.
I'm going to freak out.
Cold Social posted it. It was like the first day.
They know how to get me.
See, yeah, I mean, there's going to be one. It's going to be like, you know, you're going to be, you know, maybe you missed lunch and you're hungry, or you just are feeling emotional, and it's a player that you really sort of love, and they're going to show a video of it, and like, it's going to hit you. Like, but I think as long as we can generally, you know, stay calm, I think we'll all be okay.
I think videos of guys returning back from injury are a lot better and more valuable to see. Like, okay, this guy's moving really well. Like Rashid Rice, like, you know, you see his video of him moving very fast and being able to make cuts. That's encouraging for a guy, you know, removed from the injury that he had early in the season. So it's like, all right, I'm glad I know this guy's grinding. This guy's working out. He's ready for the season, you know. So those videos I do appreciate.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see some of those too as we get through the summer, for sure. In the wise words of Black Sheep, you can get with this or you can get with that. The choice is yours. So we decided to pit some rookies against one another, guys who were, you know, maybe drafted around each other or look to be in similar situations, and do a little bit of this or that. I know, Laquan, this was sort of your brainchild, so you put together some guys, which I looked at these like, this is a very interesting list for sure. Like, I'm looking forward to kind of debating some of these things. So let's start with a couple of running backs. You got Caleb Johnson, who is in Pittsburgh, or RJ Harvey in Denver. Laquan, since you put this on the board, and I know suddenly you've become a Caleb Johnson truther. Like you were, basically comparing him to a sleep aid during the offseason. It was like, man, I'm out of NyQuil, so I'm just gonna use some Caleb Johnson video to put me to sleep for a little bit.
You hit harder than Benadryl, my guy.
Now that you've turned the corner, and I know how you feel about RJ Harvey, who would you rather have, Caleb or RJ?
This one's actually more difficult than you would think if you read my Twitter timeline and like going up into the draft. But I was at first siding with Caleb Johnson just based on the situation and the offense. But I feel like RJ Harvey is just set up a lot better, to make a year one impact because there's literally nobody behind him. And like in year one, Caleb Johnson has Jaylen Warren there, who's going to be involved in this offense just as much as he was last season with Najee Harris. So that makes me a little hesitant. Not saying that Caleb cannot be fantasy relevant in year one. I definitely think he can be. He could be a ground and pounder, a guy that can be in the red zone and take some of those opportunities from Jaylen Warren and some of those passing opportunities as well. But he needs to improve as a pass blocker as well to be on the field on third down. But RJ Harvey, you just see Sean Payton bricked up and just excited about him every time you hear his name ringing off the bell. So I think with the lack of competition behind him, I just much rather have an RJ Harvey in year one.
All right. You agree with that, Florio?
I don't know. I go back and forth on these two. I do see the appeal of RJ Harvey, but I feel like Caleb Johnson's walking into 250 to 300 touches in year one. And that to me is hard. Like that's what Najee Harris has been for years, right? And like we don't even know who the Steelers QB is right now. Like, to me, their identity is going to be the run game. Even though it might be Aaron Rodgers, who dumped the ball off.
Don't say his name!
Which, by the way, I watched all of the Harry Potters. I finished them for this weekend for the first time. Wow. I get the hype now, everybody. I could talk about it, man. But I know Harvey's going to go first. I guess in a vacuum, I would lean Harvey, but at in the early drafts I'm doing, I feel like I'm getting like a 2-round discount on Caleb Johnson, and at that cost, I'll take Caleb.
I'm with you, right? Because what Laquan said about Harvey's situation is correct, right? There's nobody there that frightens you in terms of taking touches, right? It's not going to be Audric Estime, Jaleel McLaughlin. I know I was making a joke about Tyler Batty a week or two ago. Like, in reality, this is RJ Harvey's gig. Hearing Sean Payton get all geeked out about a guy, like it's like slow motion camp videos, right? Like I don't respond to that anymore. I just don't, because he's
a liar.
How many times was he excited about Marvin Mims, right? And then on game day, there's an Amber alert out for Marvin Mims because nobody's seen the dude, right? So like I can't really just get into that quite anymore. The thing I do like about Caleb Johnson is that he's going to share touches with Jaylen Warren. But last year, there was a pretty notable line of demarcation in terms of distribution of duties. It was Najee Harris who basically took the carries, 263 carries last year. It was Jaylen Warren. I was going to say Jaylen Warren who got a lot of the targets, but not really. I mean, Najee actually got more targets in that one too. Maybe they lean on Warren early in the season, but I think if Caleb Johnson turns out to be the guy that we think he is, I think he quickly sort of does slide into that Najee Harris role. And because the Steelers don't have a Bo Nix, there's the other part of it though, Laquan. Like, you are a Bo-lever, right? You scolded us for not Bo-leaving enough, right? Like, if you're a Bo-lever, doesn't that mean that RJ Harvey can't necessarily get as many touches because they're going to have to throw the football?
I think that we're underestimating RJ Harvey's ability to catch the ball as well. I mean, honestly, I think he's a better pass catcher than a Jalen McLaughlin. And that's proven coming out of college when you look at their production. I mean, honestly, I feel like RJ Harvey is one of those guys that we are putting in that box again. Like how we were very hesitant on Bo Nix and like the slow start. I think that's how RJ Harvey's going to be, because when you look at this Broncos O-line, it's elite. It's one of those things that you look like, oh, they're great on the O-line. They have a great quarterback, a great play caller in Sean Payton, and then you have a running back that's superior than everybody that's in the room. How don't you feed this guy 230, 250 touches? You know what I mean? So I think, honestly, his explosiveness just sets him up more in that passing game to contribute as well.
I think Harvey could do all of that. Like, to me, I remember before the draft, I was saying, like, this is a running back that if he falls in the right spot, I'm going to be all over for fantasy. And then he fell to the one spot where, like, everyone is all over him, and he's going in, like, the 4th round. And that's the only thing that gives me pause is, like, he's going where some of these other rookie running backs are going. And look, I'm not saying he doesn't belong there, but it does feel to me like everyone has RJ Harvey hype, and it's just everyone wants to be the flag planter, you know? And like my fear is that the hype is going to get out of control for him. And that, again, like I'll take Harvey over Johnson in a vacuum. I had him over him in my pre-draft rankings and stuff. But if this range that they're in keeps getting wider and wider, then I'm just going to fall on the Kaleb Johnson side.
Yeah. I was in a mock draft last night, and RJ Harvey went in round 6, kind of toward the end of round 6.
Totally fine with that.
I got Kaleb Johnson fairly early in round 8. So,
okay, I'd rather take that value. Yeah, I'd rather take that value.
Can the answer be both? Because at that price, I'm in on both.
I mean, at that price,
you can get both. Yeah,
I mean, you could definitely get both. Certainly at that.
Can't get both in a rookie draft though, but you can get both.
Next one up, Emeka Egbuka, who we just talked about a little bit, against Luther Burden. Floria, which of those two would you rather have?
I mean, you guys remember our pre-draft talk, right? Like I was very high on Luther Burden, and I was ahead of him. I had him ahead of Egbuka, and even on top of that, right? Like, I think they fell into similar situations. There's 2 receivers, at least 2 ahead of both of them. They're tied to offenses that we believe, one was we saw last year, one we believe will take that next step and be really good for fantasy. But I'm going to go with Luther Burden here because, one, I do feel like the receivers ahead of him are a little bit less like cemented into their target share. Like if Evans and Godwin are fully healthy, those guys are going to see a ton of volume. We know DJ Moore is going to see a ton. Rome Odunze, we want him to, we believe he will, but he isn't in that same group of the other guys yet, in my opinion. Plus Ben Johnson's system, which targets the slot a good amount. Caleb Williams threw like a third of his passes to the slot last year. And I think Luther Burden comes in and is the lead slot guy on day one. Whereas like Jalen McMillan is still there to compete for that. Is Chris Godwin going to be playing in the slot like he was last year? Because that's where he is best suited. So if he's not playing in the slot, then I worry there for him. So I'm going to go with Luther Burden as my guy here.
I'm leaning toward Burden, and I think it's just about paying the Ben Johnson tax, right? It's the Ben Johnson hype train that is moving him up for me. But I reserve the right to change my mind in this in a couple of months. But for now, I am. I think I'm just still excited about. I mean, it's still May, right? I'm excited about Ben Johnson, what he brings to the table with this offense. I'm excited about what to expect from Caleb Williams in year 2. And I think maybe in the short term, in the immediate, I think there's a better chance for Burden to succeed. I think over the long haul, I don't know, maybe I like Egbuka a little bit more. But Laquan, this is also year 1 in that offense without Liam Cohen. In Tampa Bay too, and I think that has an impact on my decision. I don't know how you lean on this.
I lean Burden. I know we had our priors, before the draft, and I'm talking about myself, but more so he landed in another great spot with Ben Johnson. But I could see why you would want Egbuka long term, because the Bucs have proven us wrong plenty of times when we think there was going to be a drop off from Bruce Arians to Todd Bowles, and then now we're dealing with Liam Cohen to the next offensive coordinator that I cannot name off the top of my head. But more so looking at how this offense is built, like you have Baker there to distribute. So I think long term, I would want Emeka Egbuka, but right now in redraft, I'll probably pay whatever it's going to be in August for Burden, just based on that slot role and just based on Ben Johnson on the sticks and how creative he's probably going to be with Luther Burden. Like, I'm not thinking he's going to have like a Monroe St. Brown impact. It's more so of like, it's going to be one of those things that he's going to be exciting when he gets the ball in his hands, and you're going to be looking to see what he could do after the catch.
The name you're looking for, by the way, is Josh Grizzard.
Grizzard, there it is. Yeah.
In Tampa right now. Was the passing game coordinator last year. Now he takes over.
Which I don't think is getting enough attention, by the way. Like, everyone is just kind of like, the Bucs are running it back. And it's like, no, this is their like fourth new OC in 4 years. Like,
but the offense has always remained, though.
Yeah, but Baker had by far his best year last year.
Yeah, I don't think he hits that again.
If there is a quarterback that can deal with OC changes, it's probably Baker Mayfield. Like,
this generation's Alex Smith.
I mean, has he? I'm trying to I'd have to go back and actually look, but it feels like he's never had the same OC. Maybe the years in Tampa. Tampa might be the only time he's had the same OC.
Well, Liam Cohen with the Rams. That's
not even true. Because he had Dave Canales first year in Tampa, and Liam Cohen last year.
The Browns, I remember they fired their coach his first year and then brought in Freddie Kitchens, who was gone before the end of his second year. Right. Then Carolina, he maybe never has had the same OC in back-to-back seasons.
So, like, for Baker, it's like, whatever. Like, I'm sure for Baker at this point, it would be weird if the same guy showed up 2 years in a row.
It's more like, what are you doing? What are you doing nice here? To meet you, and probably won't see you next year.
Yeah, I mean, it's like every time I see my Baker, sometimes I see my doctor, I'm like, no offense, I hope that I don't see you again.
Is Baker the problem?
Like, no, I was gonna say we need to give Baker credit. He is the head coach maker. Like, that's what Baker Mayfield is.
Baker, the head coach maker. I like that.
Ooh, I like it.
There it is. Got a couple of Ohio State running backs we put against each other, TreVeyon Henderson or Quinshon Judkins. This one feels easy to me, guys. It feels like Judkins. It feels like Judkins just because of situation. Like, neither. Oh, really?
Get him, Florio.
It's easy for me in the opposite direction.
Yeah. I just feel like in New England there is still Ramondre Stevenson there. And there is still Drake May there, and they do want to build this thing around May right now. They did look. I don't know what Kyle Williams is going to be necessarily as a wide receiver. Like, I don't think they're necessarily They bring in Stephon Diggs. They go out and they draft Kyle Williams. They still have Pop Douglas there. They still have, Keyshawn Boutte. They bring in Mac Hollins. They're, it's not necessarily spectacular, but they're trying to build around Drake May. They still have Ramondre Stevenson there. Antonio Gibson right now is still on the roster.
Yeah.
There's nobody really competing with Judkins in Cleveland. I mean, we're not worried about Jerome Ford. Dylan Sampson, was a day 3 guy. For me, it's Judkins, but I'm open to hearing your argument to the contrary, Florio.
One, I'm a huge TreVeyon Henderson fan. He was my RB2 pre-draft, so I'm sticking with my priors there. But my thing is, he's got speed for days. Like, he might be, of the high-end running backs in this class, I think he is the most explosive. He's also a phenomenal pass catcher and pass blocker. So I think for me, the two big things that I look for in fantasy running backs are, do you have big play capability, and are you going to be on the field on passing downs? Because those are how you rack up your points so much. I do think Judkins might get more volume, but what is the quality of volume going to be? Because if you're looking at the Browns, you're circling one name, and it's Judkins, right? Like, because who's throwing them the ball? They have 4 quarterbacks. It's going to be probably a cycle.
So you'll never know who to prepare for any given week, right? We can face Flacco. We can face Pickett. We can face Shador. Like, we don't know.
Yeah, I think teams are going to be like, let's put 10 in the box and force them to throw. But yeah, no, I like Judkins. I see why they're going in similar range. I think the ceiling, the floor is safer for Judkins, I think, because of all the reasons you said, Marcus. But I think the ceiling is Henderson's.
All right. Which one? Okay, you're breaking the tie here, Laquan.
Ooh. This one was one of those things of like, who do I want immediate impact in year one? And I kind of sided with Judkins, because obviously what we all explained with Ramondre Stevenson there, and the Patriots are still trying to figure things out. And I don't feel like I can invest and trust them to get it right in year one for Drake May. So I'd rather go to where they already have the run established as their main focus. Like they're going to run the rock. They're going to run this 1-2 duo with Sampson, or if it's Jerome Ford with Judkins. But I think there may be more scoring opportunities that we're missing out on with the Browns offense, because there's one thing for sure. They're going to run that rock. I mein, Kevin Stefanski has made that very clear since he came in the building. I mean, his first year, he had Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt split nearly 200 carries. So therefore, that is definitely going to be the main focus there. And I want Henderson to be that guy. I want him to be the guy year one, day one, week one. I just don't know if they get it right day one, week one, year one.
Look, it's May. A lot could change. But my thinking is twofold. One, Mike Vrabel has always been a run-heavy style of coach. Two, they knew what they had in Ramondre Stevenson and used their second pick on Henderson. Yeah. And three, I think I am a Stevenson fan. I think he is very overrated, though, because, like,
oh, for sure,
volume has propped him up. But you look at his stats, like there's nothing that screams out like this is a guy that you built. Like I think he got paid and stuff because he was their face of their offense during a transitional period. Like it. Yeah, I don't know, but no, I might be wrong. You know, it's May.
No, I mean I think it's all fair. I definitely think it's all fair. I think the worst case scenario is that we see some combination of three of those guys, and you know,
please get Antonio Gibson off this roster.
Yeah, I feel like Gibson is easily the odd man out right now. He's the one who is.
But he looked better at times than Stevenson last year, who had a ton of fumbles. Like I don't think we've watched enough of the Patriots backfield last year, because I was sitting there just looking like, why is Antonio Gibson still here? But then I went back to saw his highlight. I was like, oh, he kind of looked better than Stevenson at times.
There was like 3 weeks where he was announced the starter, and like twice it was he got the first touch. I remember 1 week they were like, he's starting, and then Ramondre Stevenson was out there and got the first touch. Yeah. Like, yeah. I'm happy we don't have to play those games anymore.
No. Yeah, that's true. That is very true for sure. A couple of tight ends pitted against each other: Mason Taylor or Elijah Arroyo. Who you got in this one, Laquan?
I got Mason Taylor just based on the target opportunity there, because it's going to be Garrett Wilson and then Alan Lazard, maybe. No, I mean Josh Reynolds. No, I mean Mason Taylor just seems like the obvious case here as a security blanket for Justin Fields, and like he's not the most sexiest tight end out there, because again I was on the same boat of like, I'm not wowed by this guy. Why is he like even in the conversation of Loveland and Warren? But then I understand, like, he's a guy that understands the position, always finds a way to be in the right areas, be in zone coverage, and a guy that understands how to disguise in the red zone. Like, he's good at disguising that he's either blocking or he's running out for a route. So I do appreciate his football IQ. So therefore, him being the second target just makes more sense than Arroyo, who's going to have to wait and be patient to become in that pecking order where you have a JSN, where you have an MVS, and a Cooper Kupp. So we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, shout out to our producer Gavin for dropping in the chat an article from the New York Post basically saying Mason Taylor could be the number 2 target on this.
Wow, let's go.
I don't know. So does that sway your? I don't know what you were thinking before that, Florio. If so, does this change your thinking?
No, I agree completely, because that's my thing. Like I was on Insiders the other day, and I was like, I wasn't a huge Mason Taylor fan before the draft, but like landing spot matters, and he fell to a spot where he could see immediate year one volume. So I liked Arroyo more as a prospect, but it's hard to ignore the opportunity that Taylor has. So I will take him for fantasy.
All right. Well, I guess we can make that unanimous then, because yeah, situation does matter a lot. It's sort of wild too, because if you can name me one relevant fantasy Jets tight end, I will give you all the change in my pocket.
There's been
Tyler Conklin.
Tyler Conklin was not. Tyler Conklin was,
for 1 week.
I was gonna say Elijah Vera Tucker, but that's not the guy.
Austin Safarian Jenkins.
Austin Safarian Jenkins. Wow. ASJ. That's right. That's right. Yeah, but even that, like, I mean, there hasn't been a guy who's been relevant over a full season at tight end for the Jets. Like guys who pop up for like a couple weeks at a time. You know, like I know I kept trying to make fetch happen with Tyler Conklin. Like they just never had a dude at that position. Kind of in my life. You know?
In my life.
No, I'm not even exaggerating. Like in my life, like I think I once Googled like greatest Jets tight ends, and
So
like,
I literally have this up right now.
It was an underwhelming list. It was a really underwhelming list. You know.
So they've
Dustin
never had a tight
Keller?
end reach 900 yards in a single season.
Insane.
Dustin Keller might be the best. Like
Dustin Keller is the best of the 2000s for sure.
The best of the two.
They had some dude named Schuler get 879 in
Mickey
1985.
Schuler. All right. Yeah, I'm looking at I don't remember Mickey Schuler. I mean, it was 1985.
He is probably the greatest
4
Jets
years
tight
ago.
end of all time.
And
What number does he wear?
He's got
82 apparently.
4 of their top 10 yardage seasons by a tight end go to some dude that we've never heard of.
Mickey Schuler. All
Wow.
right. I mean, yeah.
Alrighty.
Like I said, like they have never had anybody of note at that position.
Let's just hope that Tanner Engstrand can get it right, because being that he was under Ben Johnson and he understands the focal piece of a tight end in an offense, and hopefully that's what Mason is.
You made jokes about Tyler Conklin. He has the 12th and 15th most yards in a season by a Jets tight end.
Jesus. He even make top 10.
Ooh, all right.
Rough,
all right.
man.
It's rough out there, man. For
This
sure.
next one you don't got to ask me about either.
Well, I was
Everyone
gonna
knows
say,
my
like,
answer.
I'm like, you know, Bhayshul Tuten versus Cam Skattebo. Like, did we just all say Cam Skattebo and move on?
Cam Skattebo.
No, I'm
Uh-oh.
going Tuten.
All right.
Okay.
I'm going Tuten.
I sort of assumed you were, just because I figured like you wouldn't have put this on there unless you were going Tuten. So please,
Yeah.
the floor is yours.
All right. So the reason why I'm going Tuten over Scat is honestly because Tuten was handpicked by the Jaguars front office, like Liam Cohen. And I understand that, you know, some people are comparing him to have the Bucky Irvin type of legacy path, but I think it's very different. I think Tuten's coming in out the door as the RB1 because you have two guys in that in-house that we've seen stinking up the place, and they haven't been, you know, consistent. They haven't been guys jumping off the paper, off the film, et cetera, et cetera. With Scat, I think Tyrone Tracy's not going anywhere. I think Tyrone Tracy is going to be still involved in this offense. And I feel like, you know, with Skattebo, he's getting that hype as the angry runner, a guy that's hard to bring down, great in the passing game. He may take on the role as the lead, you know, runner, the pure runner, but I think he's going to get cut at the knees when it comes to that PPR where the pass catching is going to be, because Tyrone Tracy was actually great in the passing game last season. So he was average 5.2 yards per target. So therefore him having that 7.5 yards per reception is up there above Bijan, but right under Devon Achane. So he's very, very good at producing after the catch. And that's a lot of where, you know, Skattebo can be a play as well. It's just that they're split down the middle when it comes to their utility.
All right. So you are, as Gavin says, rooting for Tuten.
Rooting for Tuten. I like that saying.
You're
Though.
rooting for Tuten. All right.
That might be my name this year for one of my fantasy leagues.
Rooting for Tuten. All right.
I agree with everything you said about Tuten, by the way. Like, he has the opportunity to run with the job, all of that. I'm just a lover of
Yeah, like
him.
I'm sort of like I've planted my flag with Skattebo, and like I
think he's taking over for Tracy.
I'm just
personally.
I'm sticking to my.
I hope not, though, because Tracy
I don't
was
think he will.
good.
I don't think Tracy goes away. I
Yeah.
think Cam plays like 60-40, something like that.
But that's my
just-
thinking. Like, Tracy won't go away, but then you have Jacksonville where it's obviously Tuten. Like, he's the guy, you know?
Yeah, I'm just gonna claim confirmation bias on this one. That I you know, I was a Skattebo guy,
May.
and yeah, it's May, and I'm gonna stick with it. You know, come hell or high water. So I'm sticking with Skattebo. but everything you said was valid. I'm not discounting that at all.
I appreciate that.
And I've seen the reports, right, that the Jags really do like Tuten, and can give him an opportunity to compete for that RB1 job for sure. Jayden Higgins or Trey Harris? We know that Laquan is a big fan of Trey Harris.
And Jayden Higgins.
That's true. When we did our rookie mock, because you sort of reached for Trey Harris a little bit. We did our rookie mock, if I recall correctly. So I'll ask you, Florio, Jayden Higgins or Trey Harris.
I had Trey Harris ahead of Higgins in the pre-draft process. I wasn't crazy over Higgins, if you guys remember. And then landing spot, I think, firmly pushes this Trey Harris's direction because he gets an opportunity year one to come in and potentially be their X. Like, I think as of today, he should be viewed as the favorite to be the starting X receiver for the Chargers. Ladd McConkey is still going to be their top target and their top receiver, and I'm taking him in round 2. I don't care what anyone says, but I think Trey Harris is going to be a good number 2 option. He also could be their top option in the red and end zone, whereas Higgins could still be that for the Texans, even in a limited role. Like, I think that's where he could thrive, but Nico Collins is a clear target vacuum there. Christian Kirk is going to be playing in the slot. Jalen Noel could get mixed in as well. So I think it's just going to be a lot harder to find consistent volume and production for Higgins in year one than I think Harris, who has in my opinion, a much clearer path to volume.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one too. I think it's Harris. Just I could see him being a starter in week one, just based on what the depth chart is for receivers with the Chargers versus just the glut of receivers there in Houston. You mentioned Collins, you mentioned Kirk. We wait to see what Tank Dell's recovery process is going to be, but they drafted Noel, they drafted Higgins. John Mechie right now looks like he may be working into things. I mean, look, I know it's not sexy. They brought in Justin Watson from Kansas City as a free agent too. I mean, there are a lot of guys competing for snaps and targets there, and I think that is the part that makes it tough for Higgins. Just the sheer amount of competition that he has there for sure. Last one. Jarquez Hunter or Jayden Blue? Come on, man. I know Laquan's on his whole I want to
RB3 season. Let's go.
I just want to put, I want to put Kyron Williams in a rowboat with a small leak in it and just push him out to sea sort of thing.
He's not in the bag of discontent. It's just more so of disappointment. Like how your child does something bad and you're just like, I'm not mad at you. I'm just disappointed in you.
But Jayden Blue doesn't have any his competition is Javonte Williams, right? Like Jayden Blue really could push and legitimately be a starter this season. Like Jarquez Hunter not only has to battle Kyron Williams, he's still got to battle Blake Corum too. Like there are more obstacles in the way for Jarquez Hunter than there is for Jayden Blue. Come on.
And like for me, and look, I'm not saying I'm as plugged into the Rams as you are, LQ, but to me, I feel like these other this backfield, if it becomes murky, it's going to be Hunter and Corum being a thorn in the side of Kyron. Kyron's never going away.
No, he's not going away, but his plate might be a little bit smaller, and you don't plug in Corum there if he's the same exact play type as a Kyron. And that's why I think Hunter has more of that home run ability, has the ball security where you can trust him in critical situations, the red zone. And honestly, I just feel like with Jarquez, his opportunity may not be in year one because this is a contract year for Kyron. But longevity wise, I would rather have Hunter than having Blue where, we don't even know what the Cowboys are doing week to week. Like it's one of those situations where it's like, where do I feel safer with? Who do I feel more comfortable with? Give me the guy that has no gloves on, that has one fumble last season versus Kyron that has the most fumbles in the last 2 seasons. I just feel like we have to take real life situations here. And with Les Snead so bricked up about Auburn running back, because his connections to Auburn as well. But it's like, I just feel like he has everything that Kyron lacks on a serious note on the utility belt when it comes to home run ability, ball security, and he can also do a lot of what Kyron can do, what he's been so good at.
He could be a phenomenal change of pace RB2, I think. Blue could be a starter though.
Can he?
He's beating Javonte Williams. That's a lot easier to do than beating out Kyron Williams.
I'm just, what's going to be fun is next year when the Rams spend like a late day 2, early day 3 pick on a running back, and suddenly Laquan
do it every year
on that dude, right? Like, I mean, just look at the last few years, right? 2022, they spent a 5th round pick on Kyron Williams. 23, I think they brought in Ronnie Rivers as an undrafted free agent.
Zach Evans before that, yeah.
Yeah, Blake Corum last year, Jarquez Hunter this year. Like, they're going to spend another kind of later round pick on a running back next year, and Laquan's going to be here in like, I'm telling you, man, Jonah Coleman out of Washington, like that's going to be the dude. Like, okay.
Nah, the chances that McVay just says, "Yo, you're on a contract year, Kyron. We're giving you the ball 400 times and just running you into the ground."
That would be highly like I would not want that. Just based on I looked at his carries per fumble. Every 63 carries these last 2 seasons, he's fumbled the ball. And I do not want that in the most crucial areas of the game that we saw last season. Like those Eagles fumbles, man, that crushed the entire.
Every, 3 games?
Listen, why would we want that? No,
I mean, but like, why don't you just have him, fumble early in the season and just get him out of the way, and then like late in the year,
just
like,
don't fumble.
It's good.
Just hold the ball.
I mean, sure, make him carry a football everywhere he goes.
You know what's crazy? All the off-season pictures that the Rams have posted on the social is him holding the ball, so he might be doing that.
So I mean, like,
it's gonna be a part of his body. I
want him in the lunchroom holding the ball, and somebody just randomly just punches the ball out.
I want him in the lunchroom sitting next to Matthew
Were you just
Stafford.
watching the program recently? Like, is he Omar Epps? You got to bring the ball back every single day. Like, is this what we're doing right now? Like
the ball,
Oh man. So yeah, schedule release is coming up on Wednesday. We were joking before the break about whether or not we're leaking the schedule. So I will say this: in the past, I have been given the schedule, like, because I had to write stuff about it for fantasy, like bye-week replacements and best and worst playoff schedules and that sort of thing. And so they gave it to me in advance. Like, I will tell you that it was given to me like in a sealed envelope, and I could not, under penalty of death, leak any of that information to anyone. I mean, it was the highest level of security. And now, like, beat reporters are just like putting out stuff like daily, right? And now they're just like dripping everything like here and there. Like
some of it will be leaked, but we pick what gets leaked.
Yeah, we do. Although I'll say this, like, look on social media on Wednesday morning, right? Because then you're going to start seeing like beat reporters for the teams being like, the Eagles and the Eagles and the Giants, they play in weeks 3 and 12. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm making that up. I have no idea, but you're gonna start seeing all this stuff out, and like it's just funny because the league is just like, don't tell anybody, and then like it's just getting tweeted out there the whole time.
Funny tweet I saw this morning said schedule leak: the Steelers will be playing on AFC wildcard weekend on the road as 8-point underdogs.
Is that a schedule leak or is that a script leak? Is like
a script leak. That's yearly what it is for them. They end up just making it and playing the Ravens, Steelers, or Chiefs. Bills or Chiefs. I mean,
the Houston Texans will probably be playing on that weekend too, and they'll have the early game so that I can go
Saturday first kickoff.
It'll be the first kickoff on Saturday. I can go, run to the store, like do some errands, go to Lowe's and get some stuff for the house or something while the Texans are on, for sure. Things that we do know that have officially been announced, though: the Eagles and the Cowboys will be the kickoff game on September 4th. Why? What, you wanted that game or something?
I wanted Rams Eagles week 1. Line it up, man.
I told you, man, the Rams don't have a good history.
All right, Florio. The Bills got us. That was an embarrassing performance at the crib, but
I was there.
You were.
Yeah, I guess I don't think I've ever really cared if my team plays on kickoff weekend or not, like on the kickoff game. I don't think I've ever like really put any thought into it. Like,
I was very excited when the Bills got that game.
I don't think it's ever really mattered to me one way or another. Like, I'm going to watch them. Which, by the way, side note to me, that's why this whole like schedule release thing is very, very funny, because like if you care enough to check into schedule release and like watch all these schedule release related programming, you don't really care when the games are. You're going to watch all of them anyway, right?
Yeah. Because we're
they're like, this game is coming on Christmas. You don't care. You're going to watch the game anyway. Like, that's it.
When the schedule comes out, I look at the international games I'll look to see if there's any like big standalone games. I obviously look at the Bills schedule, and then I look at week 1 because I'm like, I know I'm watching all of these games already, so let me plan for week 1 now.
Yeah, like back before the Rams were good, I used to plan to just get my mental health in order of like, all right, who are we playing week 1? Like, if this is going to be a blowout, then it's like I'm out by halftime. But that's usually what it was back in the day.
I'm sure I will look at the 49ers schedule and I will make a note of week 1 and I will forget it by like 4th of July, and I'll have to come back and like check it again. Like I'll just forget about it. You did mention the international games. Those have been released as well, at least all but one. The Sao Paulo game, we know that the Chargers are playing. We just don't know who they are playing yet. That will be revealed on Wednesday. But the ones we do know, Vikings and Steelers at Croke Park in Dublin. I have been there. I watched a hurling match, which if you want to see just a sport that's completely bonkers, just go to YouTube and look up hurling.
That's
that's curling.
Oh,
this is hurling with an H, which is just this bananas combination of like soccer, baseball, rugby. I mean, it's just, I can't even, just go to YouTube and look up
basketball.
Hurling. It is. I mean, it does feel kind of like basketball a little bit. But, the point being, I saw that at Croke Park in Dublin. It was a fun venue. I enjoyed that. But that's Vikings Steelers in week 4. The Vikings will stay over in Europe, and they will play the Browns in week 5 at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
They're undefeated internationally.
Are they? Oh,
I hate this, by the way. I hate this. Teams get 2 back-to-back games.
Well, it's because the Bills got screwed one. It's because the Bills got screwed 1 year.
They were, but it happens. I'm pretty sure.
Was it the Jaguars that were over there back-to-back? Was it the Jaguars you guys lost to? Yeah.
I'm saying this solely off the top of my head, zero facts checking in it or whatever. I feel like the team that gets the second European game is undefeated in that second week.
Huh, that's a good question. We should go back. I'm sure we could go back and look at it. You work with a research team. Look, why don't you go check that out? Go check it out. Week 6, Broncos and Jets also at Tottenham Hotspur. Week 7, the Rams and the Jaguars go to Wembley. So the West Coast
London,
folks
baby.
enjoy getting up for a 6:30 a.m. kickoff. Hooray!
I should be up anyway.
I mean, you'll probably be.
I'm gonna be up for all of these.
Those of us
time United games come on. Like
those of us with young kids will be up anyway. Over in Berlin in week 10, it's the Falcons and the Colts. And then in Madrid, Spain at the Bernabeu, it's going to be the Commanders and the Dolphins.
That's going to be a good game.
So that should be interesting.
I told Nicolette this morning, I was like, yo, just let you know, the month of October, I'm going to be up like 6 a.m. every Sunday.
Don't mind me.
She was like, okay, it's May. Like...
She does not care, bro.
Yeah. So those are the international games. Question for you guys: who do you think gets the most primetime games this year? Is it the Eagles? Is it? Because I have a thought.
I do
I'm
as well.
What you guys think?
I think the Bears will be up there. I don't think they have the most, because I think the NFL thinks the Bears are going to be good this year, which I hope they are, but.
I think
the
the opposite of the 2 teams that are going to be forever linked. I think the Commanders, because I think Bears Commanders is a national team. It better like that week 1, make that Sunday night football. Like I'm content with that. I think a Eagles Commanders game gets prime time. They play the Lions, that could be prime time. They play the Chiefs. That's 4 right there. The Cowboys might always be one. They get the Broncos. Like I just feel like the Commanders and the soon-to-be MVP of the league, Jayden Daniels, gets featured a lot.
Wow. Yeah, I was going to say the Bears because of the Ben Johnson factor, because it's Caleb Williams in year 2, just because there's so much excitement around the Bears. I think the Bears are going to get a lot. I do like the Commanders call, though. I think that's a good call. I just ask, please, schedule makers, stop with the Giants. Stop.
I was going to say the Chiefs.
I at least understand the Chiefs, right?
They're
because
boring.
I mean they've been successful, and like people will watch and just pray for their downfall. Like I get it, I get it. But like enough with the Giants. I know the hopes that they're gonna be better this year, but it's miserable, man.
Week 2 TNF is gonna be like Giants Cowboys.
Yeah, it's funny because now that like they've actually started putting better matchups on TNF, we don't get our normal Titans Jags.
Yeah,
CNF
Browns Jags.
Like we haven't gotten Titans. I don't think we've gotten Titans Jags in a couple of years. Like that was a tradition unlike any other.
We'll get an early Titans TNF game, I'm sure, now with Cam Ward.
Yeah,
No.
we probably will. In fact, I remember when The Force Awakens came out. You know, they started releasing the Star Wars sequels or whatever. I remember going to see it. Like it came out on a Thursday night, and like the TNF game that night was Titans Jags, and it's like, well, this is making it easy for me to go to the movies.
Yeah, easy decision.
Easy to go to the movies, and I'll just check in later and see what happened. Yes, it was Gavin. It was a color rush game. It was like the the mustard bottle Jaguars uniforms against like, the light.
Oh,
blue.
I missed the color rush actually. The Rams versus the Bucks. That was pretty cool. It was ketchup versus mustard.
I feel like it sort of ended when they did that Bills Jets game, and we found out how many people were colorblind because social media couldn't tell the difference between the red dots and the green dots. The same. Yeah,
Seahawks had the most. I
They're
would
the
say
best one,
top
in my
top.
opinion.
with the highlighter uniform.
Yeah, the highlight. Those are sick.
Those are all right. Yeah,
They should wear it daily.
It
Like,
took me a minute to get used to them. But when I did, I'm like, all right.
not
I
even
can get
weekly. They should practice in those like that. Like I would wear them
Just
all the
every day.
time.
All right, sure. Any particular games that you guys are looking forward to this year?
I
wrote down a few. I wrote down a couple. So
Ravens Bills running back.
Oh, that was my answer.
that's all.
yeah. Let's see that one. Let's see that one. Again.
Wars were waged last year between those two fan bases, and one came out on top with the playoff win and the MVP, and the other one is very salty about it. So I'm sure it won't be heated when they match up this year.
Yeah, of course not. You know, it'll be calm.
Chiefs Eagles too. I think. Yeah, Super Bowl rematch.
I'm looking for Rams Eagles. I think that should be interesting after what happened. in the playoffs.
That game was on NFL Network last night.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I saw it and I was like, I hope Laquan is asleep by now.
Did you? I definitely was. Did you see the fumble? Did you see the fumble?
I didn't put it on. I was too busy on my Nick High, but I saw that game on TV and I was like, oh man.
Yeah, I think I was watching. I was busy watching the Warriors get their doors kicked in, so I don't think I saw.
Man,
that.
where's Jimmy?
Playoff Jimmy? Warranty. The warranty has expired on Playoff Jimmy, and apparently it's only even when it's working, it's only valid for the first 3 quarters. Apparently, it just doesn't work in the 4th quarter. Not sure. Anyway, so I like Rams Eagles. I had Vikings at Seahawks, which is JJ McCarthy against Sam Darnold. A little bit of the Darnold revenge.
Can that be a Sunday night game, please?
That'd be interesting.
So
That'd be
all
an interesting
eyes on
Sunday
it.
night game. It would be.
Yeah.
Bears Lions, like maybe preferably when they go to Detroit, it's Ben Johnson coming back to Detroit would be interesting.
Ooh.
That
And then-
I feel late season matchup between those two has Saturday night game written all over it.
That does have Saturday, especially if we know the Lions will be competitive and should be good. Like if the Bears turn out to be competitive, I think that's going to be a really interesting Saturday night game late in the season. The other one I had is Raiders Patriots, not necessarily because I think either team's going to be great or make the playoffs, but it's kind of the Tom Brady Bowl, right? Like it is now that Brady is in ownership with the Raiders. And look, trust me, if you want to get a Raider fan heated to this day, just say Tuck rule. That's all you got to do. And they will get heated. You might get punched in the face. I make no promises about your own safety, but they still they're not over it. And the fact that Tom Brady is in ownership, like it just does not sit well with a lot of Raider fans.
I was going to say, do they accept Tom Brady now?
I grudgingly, like, hey, look, if it turns out that he builds this franchise and they start winning games, I'm sure they will certainly accept him. But yeah, man, like I don't think it just doesn't sit right with them because especially at that point the Raiders were really good and they were on the way up, and the Patriots were kind of up and coming. That Tuck rule game changed the trajectory of both those franchises. Like the Raiders wandered in the wilderness for a long time, and then the Patriots went on for their run. By the way, Gavin mentioned Pete Carroll was the head coach of the Patriots for a while. He got fired. He got fired, and eventually landed at USC and did things there.
That Raiders Patriots game, like all I want is like Baker Mayfield running in at the end with like a Money in a Bank case, being like, "No, we're the real winner of the Brady Bowl." Like,
Money in the Bank pay-per-view coming up, man. Look at you saying wrestling preferences.
That would be funny. Also, Raiders Chargers, just because the Pete Carroll Jim Harbaugh rivalry is real.
That division is crazy with the head coaches, man.
Everybody else is like, we're going to get young head coaches. The AFC West is like, screw this, man. We're going old. Like, we're going
old school, baby.
You know what game I can't wait for? Selfishly, 49ers Rams.
Yes.
Why? Just because you want him to?
I want you to. That week is always a fun week on the pod.
It's
really just me screaming at him.
Yeah, because like I don't have the same level of like hatred for the Rams. Like, I did once upon a time, and I think just doing this job for so long, like I don't necessarily hate teams anymore. So like I don't have the same, like I love that Laquan still has like this feeling in his bones for the rivalry. Like I don't
in my bone marrow, like it's in my blood.
Yeah, like I
don't dislike teams anymore. I dislike fan bases.
And I think that's a thing too.
That's what's happened to me.
It's fan bases. Like Rams fans are fine. I mean,
they were that loud.
Well, it's because there was 20 years where they didn't have a team. Well, no,
Laquan, I will give you credit. You defend the Rams and talk for like, but I want more. I think the Rams deserve more love in LA than they get.
Well, I mean, I think they do, but again, I always say this: they abandoned the city for a full generation.
Get over it.
Lost. No, it's not get over it. It's not no, Laquan, it's not a get over it thing. It's that in those 20 years, all those people adopted other teams.
Traitors are by far.
They're not traitors. Like if anybody's a traitor, it's Georgia Frontiere who took the team and left. Like that's the traitor there. Right? And so like in that void, people adopted the Raiders. They adopted the 49ers. Like it's not about being a traitor. It's like as Adam Rank once said, the Rams went out for cigarettes and didn't come back for 20 years. Like that's what happened.
Dude, they picked St. Louis, which is insane.
And so like they're building something back. Like, and I think, you give it another 5 years or so, like I think you're gonna have a really strong fan base here. And like I always said for years when everybody's like, why isn't the NFL in LA? Like people in LA aren't football fans. I'm like, that's not true. People in LA really are football fans. They're just not fans of all the same team. Like there's a lot of football fans here. They just all cheer for different teams. That's it.
You shouldn't leave your fandom because a team left. Like I don't care if the Rams
why?
If they went to New Zealand, your favorite
team doesn't love you back. Your favorite team does not love you back. It doesn't. And like if you pick up because you wanted more money out of me, and especially because the Rams at that time weren't good. Like you are not putting a good product on the field, and then you pick up and leave because you tried to extort me. I am absolutely.
I would be a score. Like there was once upon a time, like it never was gonna happen, but like would the Mets leave New York? And I was like, if they do, I'm not going to have a baseball team because I'm going to be so hurt that they left. That I'm never going to be able to love again.
Look at the Chargers, right? The Chargers had a loyal, dedicated fan base in San Diego for decades. Back. And then
send them back.
The Spanos family ripped that team from San Diego. And folks from San Diego are like, one, because people from San Diego don't really love Los Angeles. They're like, one, you took our team and you took them to a place that we don't like. That's why when the Rams came back, people were like, oh, that's kind of cool. And the Chargers was like, hey, we're moving to LA. And everybody was like, so? Like, that's what happened.
They should go back to San Diego, man.
They should go back to San Diego.
Send them packing.
Go back. Play a Petco till you figure out what you're going to do.
Petco is beautiful.
Mostly because it is beautiful. And I also want the Padres field to be chewed up because the Padres.
I love that, Marcus. You might not hate other football teams, but you do hate other baseball teams. And I love it.
Padres, the Giants, the Padres, whatever.
You got a hit list.
They do. All right. I've gotten that out of my system. This was fun. We'll be back with the cheat sheet on Thursday. I did watch Havoc. I'm ready to talk about Havoc.
Yes,
I watched Havoc. I have thoughts. So we'll get to
nostalgia,
that.
90s action. Scene.
I'm not giving you any of my thoughts right now. I'm gonna hold them for Thursday. I have thoughts. That's it. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say that for sure.
Yes, let's go.
We'll do that at the cheat sheet. We'll have some, we'll dummy up some fantasy football talk too, since ostensibly that's what that show's all about. But I do feel like we'll probably talk Havoc. I don't know, depending on your situations, we may talk Andor, since we say goodbye to that starting tonight too.
I've yet to see it, a single episode. Should I change that?
Okay. You should absolutely change that. You should totally change that. Did you watch season 1?
No, I've yet to like.
Oh, yeah,
it was
any of
after. No, because
yes.
I had fatigue after Obi-Wan Kenobi, and
that was just meh. But you enjoyed Rogue One, right? You like Rogue One? Yeah. Well, if you like Rogue One, then Andor it's because it's the build up to Rogue One.
Okay. I'll have to check it out then.
You have to absolutely check it out. All right. And I guess we'll talk some schedule release, because the actual schedule will be out then too. So that. In the meantime, that'll do it for this edition of the NFL Fantasy Football Podcast. Stay happy, safe, and healthy. Do good and live well. Enjoy schedule release. Enjoy the last bit of Andor. For those of you who celebrate, watch Havoc so you can join in with us on Thursday. We will talk to you again really, really soon.